What's up everyone and welcome to the club. In today's video we're creating a portrait illustration of Ra, the Egyptian god. Let's begin today's lesson by adding some guidelines to help with the symmetry and balance of our drawing. We're going to start by sketching a line coming down the center of our page. So we're going to start from the very top in the middle. It's going to lightly work our way down towards the bottom. And I don't want to go too dark because we'll eventually want to erase this out. Now along the top we're going to draw another line going across from left to right. So we'll start with the left side and then extend that out towards the right. Now I want to use these two lines to help us create a circle on the top of our page. So from the center point, let's step up, mark off the top of our circle, take that same distance from the center down towards the bottom, and then we'll do the same thing across this horizontal line. So taking the distance from the center over towards the left, and then the right side. Now we're going to connect the center point of each mark with a curve to create our circle. So let's start with the top left. We just want to create the circle very loosely. We don't want to get too detailed with this. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to get the right size and placement along the top half of our page. Now we're going to add another guideline coming down from the side of our circle. Let's start on the left, coming all the way down towards the bottom. And we'll add another guideline going across the bottom of our circle, from left to right. Now we're going to go halfway between the center of our circle and the bottom. I'm just going to mark this off. And then we're going to angle this up and then out towards the left side of our circle. And then the right. Let's do that again. We're going to step up, angle this down and then in towards the middle, and then back up. Now I'm going to create a gap in between the eyes. So from the center line, let's step over towards the left. It's going to come straight down towards the bottom. Take that same distance over towards the right. Now from this point, we're going to step out and draw a curve. We're going to go up the middle and then back down. And this will be across the top of the beak. From the ends, let's bend this down and then out towards the bottom of our circle. From the outside of the beak, let's curve this down and then in towards the center point. So we'll start with the left, come down at an angle, and then we'll just bend that in towards the bottom. Now from the inside corner of the eye, we're going to angle this up and then bend that out towards the side. And we'll tuck the eyes in underneath. Starting from the outside, bend this down, and then in. Let's add a curve across the bottom edge of this line. Go up, and then bend that out towards the side, going around the eyes. Now I'm going to go to the outside of the eye. We're going to pull the headdress coming in around the beak. Let's start on the left. We're going to come down, and we're just going to bend that in towards the bottom of our page. Let's do the same thing on the right, coming down and then in towards the same height. From the bottom, it's going to angle this down and then out. Let's go out to the side. We're going to curve the head, coming down and then in towards the side of the beak. Let's add a thick collar underneath the beak. So we're going to start on the left, bend this down in behind, and just go across, step down and do that again. Let's go down to the bottom and add that same curve. Let's go back up to the top of the head and add a circle, going all the way around and then back up. And then from the outside, angle this down and then in towards the center of our circle. Let's go up to this line. I'm just going to angle this down and out, bend that down towards the bottom, and then do the same thing on the right to right about there. And then from the bottom, curve this out and then up. Now we're going to widen out the top of the head. From these 2 points, angle this up and then out. Bend this up and then in towards the top of our circle. Now I want to connect this point to the outside with a curve going out and then down. Now from this point along the bottom, we're just going to curve this out and then up towards the outside, towards that point. Now that we have a rough sketch, I'm going to go back and lightly erase some of these guidelines so we can get a better look at our proportions. Take out the top of that circle. Now I want to use this rough sketch as a guide to help us refine the shape and add some more detail. Now I start by adding some shape to the outside of the beak. So we start from the outside, bend this down and then in, and then pull that down towards a point along the bottom. Just going to make the beak a little bit narrower along the side. Just lightly sketch a line coming down the center. And then along the top, we'll add the nostrils. I'm going to go up and out, come down, and then in. Just going to add some detail to that trim just up above the beak. Add that curve going out towards the side. And then add a slight bend across the top. Just adding some more shape to the eyes. I'm just going to add a decorative detail on the side of the cheeks. Now I'm just going to add some decorative details across the headdress. Just add a stripe across the inside. And some more going out. I'm just going to add some stripes along the outside, just bending these down and then in, and do the same thing on the right side. I'm just going to do this very lightly because we want to trace this out along the outside. Let's just round out that point along the outside of the head. And roughly add some detail in the center. Just going to add a rough texture of feathers along the inside of the head. So starting along the top, I'm just roughing this in. I don't want to get too detailed with this. I'll just come back and add some more texture later. Now once we're happy with the level of detail, I'm going to go back and clean up our drawing before we add some more contrast and shading. Now we're going to go in and start adding some detail to our contours and refining the shapes. So we'll start around the eyes, just bending the headdress around the beak. Also adding a little bit of trim detail as we go. So along the top. You can add whatever details you'd like going around. Now from the eyes, we're just going to work our way out and continue to add some more details. You see I'm going back and forth from left to right to help balance this out as we go. So I'm going to go back up to the top. going back, we're just going to layer those feathers underneath the head. So just staggering this so it's offset from each other. So just layering the bottom underneath. And again, I'm not spending too much time with this detail. And we're just adding some thickness to those stripes across the side of the head. And once we finish tracing our contours, I'm going to add some light shades and shadows. Let's start with the side of the headdress along the inside. I'm going to leave a small gap and just pull these lines going out. And I'm just using the side edge of my pencil. And this will give us a little bit of reflection and highlight along the inside. And we're going to go around those little stripes. This will give us a little bit of a reflective treatment along the side of that metal. I'm just creating a rough pass first, and we'll go back and just clean that up. I'm just going a little bit darker along the inside edge and then blending that out. Now I'm going to do the same thing from the outside coming in. Again, just leaving a little gap on the outside. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to get a rough treatment. Let's do the same thing on the right. Just start on the inside and just blend this out. And then go back and just clean that up along the inside edge. Let's do the same thing from the outside coming in. Shade in the bottom of that medallion and then blend that up. I just want to create a little bit of a highlight along the top. Also going around the outside and then blending that up and just loosely going around some of those details. Now we're going to move down and add a shadow around the eyes. So we're going to start underneath the eyelid, start off dark along the top, fade that down. Also adding some shadows across the inside of the eyes. Now with the metal band across the eyes, we're just going to darken up the outside, fade that in, do the same thing across the inside. Going dark on the inside and then blending that out. Now we're creating this nice little highlight along the center. Add a little bit of shadow on the outside. And then we're just going to darken up the bottom tip of the beak and then fade that up. And we're going to shift the shadow over towards the right side. So light's coming down from the top left across our character. So darken up the right side of the beak. And then fade that in towards the center. Now we want to cast the shadow from the beak across in an angle. So we start down here on the right side, darken that up, and then just loosely go across the body, and just fading that down. And then from this inside section, we'll darken up the outside, going around the stripes, and then fade that down. Let's add some metallic glare across the bottom. So we're going to darken up the outside, leave a highlight, and then darken up the inside. Now with the top of the head, we're just going to darken up the outside and then fade that in. So you get this nice little highlight along the top of the head. I'm just going to carry that shadow across the bottom. Now I'm going to add a core shadow across the top of the head. So just along the inside, so darken that up and then blend that down. Do the same thing on the right. And once we complete our shading, we go in and start adding some more details on top. So start by adding some stripes across the top of that band. I'm just fading that out towards that highlight. And do the same thing on the right. Starting from the outside and just working with the curve, blending that out towards that highlight. Just adding a little bit of fur texture along the inside, going around the eyes. I'm just adding a little reflective edge along the bottom of the metal. I'm just going to darken up that reflectivity on the inside edge of the metal. Now as we get near the end of our drawing, I'm just going to tighten up my details and add a glare going across the entire head, and always be sure to sign our artwork, and that's pretty much it. There's a sketch illustration of Ra, the Egyptian god. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you did, please make sure you subscribe because I'm posting new lessons every single week. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Hey everyone, if you really want to discover your artistic potential, then join our Club Masterclass membership. For just $1 a month, you'll gain instant access to exclusive members-only drawing tutorials, virtual art camps, and much, much more. Join our thriving community of passionate artists just like you and let your creativity soar. So just click that link in the description and I'll see you in the club.